Hey there, folks, and we're back now for game three. I think I accidentally said in game two there that it was, or sort of the second game, that it was Sky who was down 0-1, but I think it was actually Yumiko who was down 0-1 because this is game three of a best of three, so I think I must have been mistaken there. And so we are going to be having another human mirror, this time on Twisted Meadows, and so we're certainly, there's a bunch of different things you can do on this map. Obviously the Archmage is the more common strategy, though certainly there are sort of multiple different routes you can take. Sky, very prone to harassing. There's a whole bunch of things that can really happen. You can see an expansion. Expansions are so nice. If Sky were to take this one, or Yumiko were to take this one, it'd be so easy just to slip that out, and your opponent would sort of know about it, but be really unable to do too much about it. We're likely to see a lot of harassing early game, and really sort of what I like about these games is that it can really become a creeping war, or it can become sort of a massive harassment war, and really either one is equally viable, and sort of it sometimes comes down to who can do sort of the better harassing, or who can get to harassing first. And so hopefully that won't actually just mean that we'll have to see who gets a ton of experience or whatever, but it looks like Flute of Accuracy, pretty nice actually, as well as for Sky. Yumiko picking up Ruined Bracers, less nice. I mean, if Sky wanted to go for a Mount King, it'd be alright, but at the same time I think it's probably better just to sell it, really. I mean, it's alright, but I mean, you're not going to be taking too much hero focus anyways. The Flute of Accuracy I really like, because obviously your army composition is going to be sort of an Archmage, or thing is going to be in your army basically is an Archmage, Water Elementals, Breakers, Priests, Sorks. I mean, they're all ranged units basically. Whatever your second hero is, that's likely to be melee, but apart from that, I mean, it's just really an excellent item. I think it's a great start here for Sky, and you can see both players are doing the same creeping here. Once you get that level 3, that's when the harassment can really start, because those level 2 water elementals hurt militia so much, and it looks like both players will be getting it at about the same time. You can see obviously the Overseer is focused down last, just because it has so many hit points, and it doesn't matter which one you focus down last, you're not going to get level 3 sooner or anything. And it looks like Sky just getting his level 3 now, and he will go out and creep this this one can't possibly with militia. He certainly does like doing that, but perhaps since he now has level 3, he won't bother. And it looks like Sky actually now going to harass me. No, I'm not sure why Yumiko is running back with these peasants. He really just needs to finish out creeping this camp, and then try and then bring out that water element. Obviously bringing it out too early would be a bit of a mistake, and it looks like Sky managing to pick off one peasant really early, and that being now sort of Yumiko bringing out so many militia, and finally Yumiko hitting level 3, and you can see at that point he immediately brings out that water elemental. He doesn't want a cooldown to be annoying him, and this arcane tower not up yet for Yumiko. That's absolutely critical. Means that Sky can really put down a lot of damage, and you can see Sky eventually being forced away, but he's going to be doing a whole lot of damage to Yumiko's economy here. You can see that just this one water elemental, it's just so annoying for Yumiko to try and deal with, and eventually he's going to get back to it. You can see Sky very prepared for harassment. He got this one arcane tower up really early, and has a second one built, and can go into arcane tower if he needs it. One peasant actually looks like he's was just sort of watching another peasant work, but eventually when Sky went to build a farm, he did notice that. So a bit careless play there, but Sky's not going to lose too much. Yumiko putting up, how many peasants is this? Like 10, 11 on lumber, so really it looks like we're going to be seeing an expansion from Yumiko at some point, and at that point he'll just be able to send all those to lumber, send at least 5 to gold, and leave the rest on lumber, and he'll be set for lumber. He won't need to rebuild, which is always pretty nice, because it means you don't need to spend extra on building them later on, and it means you're well prepared. If there's any harassment, you can bring out a whole bunch of militia. I mean, it works out pretty well just to sort of over prepare a bit, and it looks like Yumiko now going to be selling off his Ruined Bracers, and going to be picking up staff teleportation, so he might use that to staff into the back of actually he's using it immediately to get straight back here, and I wonder where he's going to send these militia. Looks like he's anticipating Sky to be running into his bases slightly before he was. Sky sending this one water elemental up before his army, who just needs to heal up a bit before they engage here. Actually, although Sky very willing to move in right here, Yumiko meanwhile picking up an expansion, starting his tech, and Sky not yet starting his tech. No, just starting it there actually, so he will be a bit behind in tech, but if we've seen anything recently, it's that Sky can really hold off a tech disadvantage if he's just allowed to do his harassment thing. and it looks like Sky can immediately run these footmen in here. Obviously, no guard tower means no way to deal with these footmen basically, and it looks like at least the Arcane Tower has much better things to do, and it looks like Sky eventually going to lose that Clarity Potion charge, but it was on there for far too long. Yumiko really should have tried to pick it off with his Archmage a bit earlier, and it looks like actually it's quite interesting that Sky has the boots and Yumiko has the Staff of Teleportation. I think Staff of Teleportation can make for more interesting battles, but at the same time I just don't think it's as useful, especially if we see a Mountain King second for Yumiko. It's really nice to be able to get away from that bolt, or at least the threat of the bolt, and it looks like Sky now taking a lot of damage on its Archmage, and still sending sort of individual footmen into Yumiko's base, and Yumiko really just sort of basically having to react to it by calling a bunch of militia, which just hurts his economy a bit. I mean, it's going to slow everything down. It's going to slow his second hero, and it looks like Sky actually now with a bunch of low footmen, going to get most of them focused down by the water elementals. But it looks like Sky coming back in here and being able to do a whole bunch of damage to Yumiko before having to run out his low Archmage, and these two Arcane Towers will be able to do a fair bit of just to chase away the water elementals at least. But Sky just being unrepentant in his harassment. This is something that's so characteristic of his play, just constantly being in your face, trying to do as much damage as possible, and really saying, I don't care if you do too much damage to me, because I'm going to go out and heal in a second, and meanwhile you're going to be pretty unable, and you're just going to have to sort of deal with that. Basically, you're like, Yumiko doesn't even have an Arcane Vault up yet, because he just lost so much time. He's had to spend his micro doing other things, and Yumiko immediately, what's he going to be doing first actually? It looks like he tried to set up a building there, probably an Arcane Vault, although possibly an Arcane Sanctum, and it looks like Sky just immediately came in and denied that, and it looks like Yumiko getting his Panda second actually, and going to run straight into this battle. Does have a boots and an Invuln Pot now, and it looks like he's going to try and just take down Sky's Archmage before it can heal up, and that's a very smart choice here, because it's going to cost Sky a lot to try and heal that up again, but he is now hitting tier 2. Sky, not much gold unfortunately in the bank. Maybe that's just because he bought here. Yes, he just bought a Panda now, and so he's getting straight back into this battle. And looks like Sky actually now going to be trying to take down this Archmage of Yumiko. Yumiko will probably just be able to make right about that Arcane Vault not being able to stay up at least long enough for Sky to buy another Arcane Scroll, and looks like that one Archmage was forced back at very low hit points. Very nicely played there by Sky, but Yumiko will sort of get the better of this exchange at least, and it looks like Sky being forced to build these Arcane Sanctums right in the back of his base, where these footmen can just do a bit of harassment, but Sky has so many footmen back here that he will be able to hold it off, and meanwhile Yumiko has one Arcane Sanctum up, an Arcane Vault and an Arcane Sanctum being built now, but Sky just with this water elemental picking off those footmen one by one, even bringing his Archmage to do a bit more damage, and Yumiko finally realizing this. Very nice use there of militia. Obviously militia move a bit faster, so by calling militia just at this point he can run it back a bit faster and save that peasant possibly, and it looks like actually both pandas now running in, and Sky now going to try and do some damage to this panda. Obviously level 1 pandas go down so quickly, especially if they're unsupported like that, and it's really going to be up to Yumiko to try and do something. And looks like he's actually getting out a Sork now, which is certainly a bold move. I mean, obviously you can try and go for a surround or something like that when your opponent is slowed and they don't have good dispelling. And Yumiko now coming in here, going to try and get off that Breath of Fire and just get straight back out again. And Sky now just being forced to, really being caught in a bad position. I really like how Sky's been playing so aggressive. He knows that he's cancelled that Arcane Vault before it went up. He knew that Archmage was really low, and so can't get back into this fight until he's healed up a bit. Meanwhile, and so that means he's going to have to bring out some priests, and you can see both Archmages are actually really low now. Sky with actually, I think his is slightly lower, but he does have a potion of healing, so he will be able to heal up eventually. Still no Arcane Vault out though for Yumiko. He really could use it at this point. Instead he's just going to have to rely on priest healing, which is not ideal. He's having to bring out some more priests because he only has 2 out at the moment, and both his heroes are low, as well as just sort of so many of his units. But look at Sky's units are so low as well. Sky being so aggressive. I can't believe he's staying in this battle. All his units are so low. Sky definitely just needing to get out of here at this point. Such fantastic aggression here by Sky, and he just managed to get out of here, even though he had that massive tech disadvantage. You can see he just did so much damage, and look at how little he gave away. Like Yumiko's Panda's not even halfway to level 2 yet. Meanwhile, Sky's sort of the same experience, but he was just doing the sort of time stalling, cancelling this buildings. That was really sort of what Sky was going for, and I think his Archmage is actually better leveled than Yumiko's Archmage now. Yeah, it is very slightly at least, but certainly that's very nice here for Sky. who's sort of done so much economic damage, whereas Yumiko's basically done none. He got these footmen in here briefly, but really didn't manage to do too much with them. And so, oh my god, now Sky getting out this dispel as well. That's just so useful. And well, it looks like Sky actually could be running or using a clarity potion, which is always interesting to see on the Archmage, because the Archmage gets the mana back so quickly. Anyways, I'm surprised actually the Archmage isn't being brought in here to creep. Obviously, creeping up the Panda can be pretty useful, but getting that level 4 would be pretty nice as well. Sky with so many low units here, really, if Yumiko's Panda came in now, he could do a lot of damage. And it looks like actually the Archmage is going to come in. That will be enough probably to take out at least one unit if Sky doesn't micro this absolutely perfectly. You can see Sky immediately trying to heal up and actually using that arcane scroll, but unfortunately some of the lowest footmen got it cancelled immediately, and you can see this water elemental could be able to do so much. Should just try and cancel all the healing on the lowest units, just sort of getting one hit off on each, and the water elemental coming back in now as well. The expansion going out for Sky, and looks like it's also going to go down for Yumiko if it hasn't quite yet, and this Archmage will be able to get out of here. And oh my god, really strong play here by both players. Actually, Yumiko doing some nice harassment. Yumiko actually looks like he forgot about his Archmage for a second. Maybe he was trying to use a self-teleportation. I didn't see, and obviously the cooldown thing never really worked in replays. It's a bit weird, but he's probably going to try and meet back up with his army now because he wants to help. No, he's continuing to be aggressive. Maybe just going to bring out this water elemental. That makes more sense. He's just going to get out of here at this point, and Yumiko really needs just to heal up his Archmage now, because a battle could start pretty soon, and that could be pretty bad for Yumiko. Meanwhile, Sky probably should take the time to creep, even though he could do some aggression now. He knows that Archmage will be able to creep up, or to heal up a bit, and so Sky's just best to creep up. And it looks like this one water elemental runs in here, but is taken down pretty quickly, but does do some nice damage to a building, which is going to cost money to repair, so not bad. And this Panda now hitting level 3 for Sky, getting a pendant of energy, which is very nice there for him. And I imagine we're going to be seeing slightly better items actually for the for Yumiko's. Yeah, Yumiko has level 3, actually picking up a Flute of Accuracy himself. That's very nice for him. And it looks like Sky going to be able to creep out this, or Yumiko, sorry, going to be able to creep out with these camps with relative impunity. Sky, I think, really needs to be a bit more careful. His army's a bit lower. It looks like he's actually split up his army a bit so he can do multiple creep camps at once. That's a pretty aggressive of him. It's something you can do with a human, actually, especially with priests. I mean, it doesn't matter if you take a bit more damage because you can just heal it up quite quickly. And Sky buying basically what is his trademark Zeppelin. I mean, he uses it so frequently in so many matchups. And he uses it to great effect. He really likes his harassment, just dropping in the back of bases, things like that. And it looks like ooh wow, this Panda coming in here. He was invisible. I guess he must have ran straight here. And getting off one breath of fire, and actually, ooh, wow, putting up a tower now, and Sky putting up a counter tower, and looks like a Yumiko just gonna run in here. He has a safe path out away from those arcane towers if he needs it, but Sky, meanwhile, creeping out this camp, and Yumiko creeping out the absolute identical camp here, and Yumiko gonna not get level 5 quite yet, I don't think. Meanwhile, Sky, you can see using both his heroes, gonna get level 4 probably. Oh wow, look at all this mana. 685 mana on a Panda is practically wasteful. I mean, it is wasteful, really. I mean, you're never going to be able to use all of it, which is a bit of a shame, but especially considering that Panda's only level 3 at this point. More harassment here by Yumiko, who is setting up this. I'm amazed it's an arcane tower. I think it'd be really nice to do a guard tower. I mean, obviously it'd be a bit less useful against water elementals or anything if they came in, or heroes, but it isn't going to be heroes. It's going to be units like this that are coming in, and if it had gone unscouted, it'd be much nicer against those peasants as well. And it looks like Sky actually going to lose this, at least one unit. Oh no, he's just managed to get the heal off here, and there's not really too much that Yumiko's been able to do about it. I wonder what item. Oh yeah, look like Yumiko got the equivalent item, or another pendant of mana at least, so he has a 700 mana Archmage at this point. Gonna want to hand that off to the Panda as well. Looks like that Panda did eventually get out of there though, and Sky might actually catch Yumiko in a really bad position here. Looks like he's gonna catch at least one breaker out of position, and he's gonna go immediately for these Sorks, but they do move out of the way eventually, and Sky now being forced to pick off the casters, which is a good thing to pick off. Level 4 now coming up for Sky. He's really going to want to at least try and get one surround here. Ooh, he just doesn't manage to get any of them. It'd be nice if he uses definitely a bit more just to get ahead of things, especially considering that he could just be dropping his Panda around into nice positions, try and get some pre-skill, or at least some priest damage, if not pre-skills. It's quite nice to be able to do some harassment. And it looks like Sky have like a scouting priest. I'm not sure why he had a priest die there, but it looks like he's actually going to lose one footman as well. Footman, like, everyone likes to say sort of they're quite disposable, and even I at times like to say that they're pretty disposable. They're not too useful. Although I do quite like them against breakers, basically because they get in the way. They sort of mix it up a bit. They do a fair bit of damage. I mean, they're nice to have residuals of them from your tier 1 battles. I mean, you wouldn't be building any more of them, but it's